Hi, thanks for joining us. It was Jules Knight from NASCO Bay Speed Shop. We're here for the series of the FJ Holden Jive Talking. So what I wanted to talk about today was some more accessories, and you'll probably get a bit sick of hearing me talk about accessories. However, let's make a start with something that you don't see every day. I've probably seen this on a couple of cars, and it's called an ornamental jewel. Now, it's very similar to a hubcap. This one isn't in terrific condition. However, with a lot of things that are old and they've been around since the 50s, when you see them, and even if the previous custodian of it hasn't taken care of it and it comes across your path, well, sometimes you just have to buy them. And it was a case with this one. Now, to give you a bit of an idea, I've got an accelerator magazine which is put out by General Motors to their dealership every month, and they would advertise the up-and-coming things that they could provide to the dealers for the dealers to on-sell. Now, an ornamental jewel is an FJ Holden accessory. It's just a beautification thing, really. It doesn't do anything that's functional. However, it looks nice. You know, they're trading on the fact that it's the same as the hubcap. And what you could do with it is, for instance, you could mount the jewel on the dashboard, so that would go either above the glove box or near the radio. That's from the internal of the car. And when you actually read the blurb on the advertisement, it talks about, for a sedan, mounting them on the back of the guards. Or, for instance, if you had a panel van or a ute, you could actually put it on the tailgate. Now, as you can see, it's got a couple of little studs that go through there, and then a speed clip just goes on top of the stud. So it would be a matter of making a template, getting it perfectly right, sliding the ornamental jewel on there, and then getting the speed clips on the back, and then that would hold it in place. If it was me, I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable with having something that's an ornamental jewel, slid onto the back of a panel. I have seen one on eBay probably about 2018, and they were asking $500 for a little badge. So it's a case of they are rare, they are valuable, but like a lot of things, if you've got them for your car, keep them safe. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is with an FJ Holden, the steering wheel is pretty basic and pretty bare with just the button. Now, what was available on the day was two things. Wybrock would be able to make a rodded horn ring, which is just here. Now, you see a lot of that on FJ and FX Holdens, and it's a terrific accessory to have, because sometimes you just can't reach for the button itself, and just being able to touch the rim is nice and easy, and the horn goes off how you need it to. But the second type that you see quite a lot is this more solid type of horn ring, and it still fits in. Your horn button is held in there by just 3 screws. It just slots into the horn ring itself. This is obviously metal cast, and I remember buying this in the 80s from EHP before they became part of the Rare Spares group in Brisbane, and it was about $100. So if you're coming across either this or that at a swap meet, or you see it on a trading website, you know exactly what it's for. Now, in the spirit of Holden having something a couple of different ways that I mentioned at the start of the clip, now they would have Holden would have, through NASCO, an exterior mirror. So this one itself would clip on the door. You've got some little interscrews that are there up the doorway itself. This would slide onto the door, and then you would be able to use these as a clamp to clamp it to the door. Now, whenever I was doing it, I would always have a rubber gasket in there as not to damage the paint. And from that, as I mentioned, they're on this little blurb for Holden, but you also find them in the Holden Master Parts catalogue themselves. So they're they're just there. But in the spirit of they had a couple of different ways of doing things, you would also be able to buy this type of mirror here that went on the fender. Now it just so happens to be able to show it. This is the type of mirror that would be a fender mounted mirror. So that's where the mount is. So it's a case of, you could have a right or a left, so that you got twin mirrors, and there's a little, in this case, a little blurb to tell you, the different ones to who does what and what they're each for and so on, and held on by a cotton string. But it looks quite good when you've got the mirrors on the doors. I always have them both sides, so you've got twin mirrors there. It makes it easy to drive, particularly with paddle vans. Windless are always really hard as far as vision is concerned, so mirrors are a great thing. So there was mirrors on the doors, and you could have mirrors on the fenders. Now, I realised that the mirrors themselves are hard things to get. You can actually go on to some of the shops on eBay, and there are particular ones that have now been reproduced. You'll be able to search peep mirrors. Now, peep mirrors themselves could be up a little bit higher on the door, but things like that are really functional. They improve safety, they improve vision on a car, and anything like that has got to be a good thing for the driver in keeping yourself and the occupants of the car safe. So if you can't find things at a swap meet, or you don't have them, you can use places like eBay to be able to search for something like this, or the peep mirrors themselves. Now, just as a little handy hint, NASCO is the National Automotive Service Company. That's what the NASCO stands for. That was their accessories and parts division. Now, in this instance, NASCO didn't make things. They would send them out to different companies to make things. And it was a case of you would have to go to the company, give them the specifications, give them the drawings, and they would make them for you. It didn't stop them making their own version of exactly the same thing with exactly the same specifications. Now, in this instance, Wybrock made a lot of things for NASCO, and you will see some, like for instance, this Holden mirror is labelled Wybrock, just there. The fender mirror might be brand new, might be exactly the same as the Holden, but Wybrock, W-I-B-R-O-C, and you'll see that, and it'll be a case of it's exactly the same thing, and it gives you what you need, and you get it on your car, and in accordance with the AEHF rules and guidelines, it is doing the performance of the same purpose and doing exactly the same job. So from a concourse perspective, there's no points as far as classification is concerned to put you in another class. So that makes it nice and easy. Now, just something very, very general. I've come across this on a couple of occasions, but we've got one ourselves. And this is just a NASCO wheel brace, or we call it a wheel brace. It's got the NASCO here. It'll say made in England. The NASCO diamond is there. We'll use a little bit of white on that to just make it pop a little bit. But you'll find the NASCO wheel brace, they call it in behind their accessories. They have it as a wrench 4-point socket. So it's the real McCoy. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but that's exactly what it's for, and you'll find it in the FJ Holden manual. So that's just a few more pointers of some accessories, parts and bits and pieces, together with a little bit of trivia about the things that are readily available and the parts and accessories that owners can get for their cars, just to make driving a little bit more pleasurable and enjoyable, but also a little bit more safe. So I hope you've enjoyed the clip on these items. We'll be bringing some more to you soon. So if you liked what we've had to say today, just press like. And if you want to follow, that's great. and I hope you've enjoyed what we've got to talk about, and I look forward to seeing you another time. Thank you.